July 28th, Town Board, second meeting of the month is in session. The first thing on our agenda is going to be a public hearing. The public hearing is for a comprehensive land use map attachment for higher density residential to commercial for a parcel of 22,651 feet, parcel number 07-00801HA, located at 3535 16th Street South. So where's the notice? Everything must be out of order here. It?
Which notice is
The
that?
notice of the meeting?
The public hearing part?
Yep.
It kind of was buried down a little bit.
No. All right. Sorry for the confusion, folks. Just my stuff. Grand Rapids Town Board to conduct a public hearing for the following. Shane Roos,
Hold on a
applicant.
second.
Pardon me?
This is actually the public hearing for the rezoning.
Okay.
The comprehensive plan future land use map is about a page and a half long.
On the back side or something?
I don't know if I put it in here or not.
Yeah, it's on the back.
Here.
This side.
There we go.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
There we go.
Town of Grand Rapids notice of public hearing amendment to comprehensive plan. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held at the Town of Grand Rapids Board on Tuesday, July 28, 6 p.m. at the Grand Rapids Municipal Building located at 2410 48th Street South to hear comments and concerns related to the proposed comprehensive plan amendments for the Town of Grand Rapids comprehensive plan. Purpose of the public hearing is to consider the potential amendments listed below for future land use map of the comprehensive plan. Town of Grand Rapids comprehensive plan future land use map amendment for higher density residential to commercial parcel 07-801HA with a size of 22,651 square feet located at 3535 16th Street South in the Town of Grand Rapids. All right, you heard the announcement. Anybody wishing to speak against, I will ask 3 times, the change.
Well, Ms. Clem was wondering.
Name for the record, sir, please. Thank you.
Oh.
Name and address for the record.
Yeah, Tim Lecker, and I'm actually out of Stevens Point. But,
You're representing somebody,
yeah, Mary Clem,
and she lives where?
1621 2 Mile.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and she was worried about cars and trucks going in and out. They're mainly trucks, because when Benny Kramer had it, he'd be loading trucks at 5:30 in the morning and making it clanging and everything. And she was worried about, which it won't be if it's just storage, she was worried about groundwater, because that's a well system yet.
Sure.
But, and then just like it says, traffic in and out, what time of day will it be? You know, if it's a supplier, if he's supplying, that shouldn't be too early in the morning, will it? I think whoever's,
Well, just address the board,
Okay.
please, then, and then if your statement is done, we'll ask for some others.
okay. Yeah, but I'm pretty much done.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak against the change? Go ahead, sir. Name for the record.
Bruce Sano, I'm a neighbor 3 houses down, and just some general concerns, I guess. I noticed that Mr. Bush has got the property for sale, and so what the future may hold, I guess it is a concern. It's a bad intersection, probably one of the worst in town. 3 of my family members have been T-boned in that intersection, so concerned about traffic. And I guess storage buildings or warehouses, they really don't do a whole lot for a residential neighborhood. And those are my concerns.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak against?
Well, I'm against it.
Go ahead, please. Name and record.
Sue Connor, KUNOP, and I live at 1621 2 Mile Avenue. And if it does become zone for commercial, what's to stop it from any business coming in there down the road?
Okay, I can address that a little bit later for you. Anybody else wishing to speak against? Hearing none, is there anybody wishing to speak in favor of the change? Again, anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the change? And again, one more time, anybody wishing to speak in favor of the change? Hearing none, we'll call the public hearing open. Closed? Yeah, let's go. And we have a second, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now we have the second public hearing for Shane Roos, 5420 Silver Forest Court for rezoning and comprehensive plan review. The rezoning will affect current parcel 07-0801HA, located 3535 16th Street South, currently zoned residential to commercial. And basically that is what I've just referred to in the announcement. The hearing will be at 6 p.m. at Town of Grand Rapids Municipal Building. Again, anybody wishing to speak against the rezoning for Mr. Shane Roos, his intent is to sell the property, of course.
What was the question again?
Is anybody wishing to speak against the rezoning of it, the actual rezoning?
As long as it doesn't hurt anybody's, residential taxes.
Anybody else wish to speak against? Third and final time, anybody else wishing to speak against? Hearing none, those that wish to speak in favor of? Anybody wishing to speak in favor of the rezoning? Third and final time, anybody wishing to speak in favor of the rezoning? Hearing none, that public hearing is closed. We'll move to the agenda items to take our action. First item on our agenda for this evening is the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Kathy, you want to lead us today?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 2, approval of the agenda for the meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question on it.
Sure, go ahead.
I really think, as it was in the public hearing, in my opinion, it was quite confusing. One of the things is if this board does not approve the rezoning, then why would it go to a comprehensive plan? And on the agenda, we have comprehensive plan first and then the zoning issue.
Actually, you have to approve the comprehensive plan change before you can approve the zoning, according to our former attorney.
Okay.
We did not know that at one point, and we rezoned things, and then we had to go back through, and to make it right, we had to approve the comprehensive plan future land use map, because the town is not supposed to make changes that conflict the future land use map.
And I disagree with that.
Okay.
I disagree wholeheartedly with that, because if you don't have a zone change and it's not approved, why do you have to approve you don't have to approve the comprehensive plan. And this actually goes to the county board. I just say, I think it's on the agenda wrong and confusing.
Okay. I accept your question, Bill, but I'll refer back to our attorney, and his direction was this, and I do remember that we had several parcels that we had to go back and revisit because of the action that wasn't followed in the right order. So, approval minutes from July 7th and 14th.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Dan, second.
Patty?
Eddie, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? This is a public comment period. Public wishing to speak to the board are limited to 2 minutes each. Our public comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak to the board this evening? Hearing Hearing none, we'll move to item number 5, resolution, that's a hard word today, 2015-18, approving amending the Town of Grand Rapids Comprehensive Plan future land use map for parcel 07-00801HA from high-density residential to commercial. This did go through Plan Commission, Patty, correct?
Yes, it did, and it was unanimous to change it from residential to commercial.
Okay.
And one of the, if I may, it was also based on a letter that Mr. Moser was going to be purchasing the property that is going to be, or that may be changed to commercial. And it was the letter that said, "To whom it may concern, I, Moser Electric, plan to purchase a piece of property located at 3535 16th Street South and use it as a storage building and warehouse. There will be no retail sales or storefront. We will clean up the property and paint all the buildings. There will be no outside storage on the property. Sincerely, David Moser, Moser Electric."
One thing I wanted to address, a question from the audience. What prevents it to be sold again and anything on in there? The town requires the commercial buildings to go through a land use permit, where it's any new business that comes into the town. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bill?
You go ahead, you have the floor.
That comes to it, and the planning commission reviews their plans and determines whether it's an appropriate use of the land.
So in other words, these hearings are just for this gentleman with the electric company. If anybody else comes and buys it, then we do it over again, right?
They still need to come through a land use permit, right?
Right.
If this goes through its zone, whether he buys it or not, but it still has to go through the individual piece to get the land use permit. Correct, Patty?
I'm not really sure on that, but I believe so.
Yeah. All right, any further discussions? Information need to be disseminated? Dan?
Make a motion
Okay.
to approve the conditional land use permit.
Not that, you're at 2015-18 is one year after.
I'm sorry, one more above.
Yeah.
Resolution 2018 amendment to the town's comprehensive plan for future land use on parcel 07-00801HA for high-density residential to commercial.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Second by Patty. Further discussions? Bill?
I'd be voting against this. I don't think it's right that this town board can approve that in a residential zone, commercial. Anybody can buy that property, another board can act on this a couple of years from now, a totally new board, and somebody come in and want to put storage units in there. They could put storage units in there because it's a commercially zoned. They could put a tavern in there. They could put anything they want in there because it is commercially zoned. It probably will increase the value for the person that owns it that says, I have a piece of property here that's commercially zoned. And let me tell you when that happened in the town of Grand Rapids. If you go down Highway 13 just before you get to Nepco Lake, those people come in here and wanted to change commercial. And they got to change commercial. It still sits there as commercial property, and there's signs out there for sale commercial property. It was changed to commercial. So the fact that it's changed to commercial, if somebody came in here and it was denied use of that and it was commercial, I think the town could end up in court because it's a use permit in commercial zoning to do this. And I talked to most of the landowners that are around there, and there is not one landowner that said they wanted it, and that wanted this change commercial. There isn't a person here that's even for it, other than probably people on the board. And I'm voting against it, and I don't think it should be changed.
Thank you for your comments. Any other ones?
I just wanted to say too that this particular property was a commercial property before. They had, from what I understand years ago, a
Whitewash business.
whitewash business.
Was in there,
Yeah.
in the residentially zoned?
Yeah.
Right.
So it was like a, the home.
Conditional use.
So home use, and it was a
Occupation home.
I would like to see that information. That has never been commercially used legally. There's never been a home occupation. And that was brought up at the Plan Commission meeting. And the person that was, Peggy, said, no, there was none. So that's wrong information.
All right, any other comments?
Have we heard from Mr. Roosh or Mr. Mosier as far as why they're not here today?
I have not talked to him.
Okay.
I do know that Mr. Mosier had either yesterday or today, I believe, called and talked to Peggy and said he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it. And she said, well, I would suggest that one of you or Mr. Roosh be here to answer questions. And that's all that I know.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask another question of Patty?
Yep.
At the Plan Commission, were both parties there to answer questions and concerns by both the commission and anybody in the public?
Yes.
And was there a good representation of audience as well at that meeting to have a conversation or discussion on that?
Well, the
or
Plan Commission wouldn't have been a public hearing notice.
Correct, that I know.
Right. There were no other residents other than Roosh and Mosier that were there to discuss this.
Okay.
Bill was there. I don't know, well, Bill comes to most of our meetings, so I don't know if he was there particularly for that part or just for the meeting.
Anything else? Hearing no other conversation, we'll move to the vote. Those in favor of that resolution for the comprehensive plan change, future land use map, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed?
I'm opposed.
One opposed. Thank you very much for your votes. We'll move to item 2015-19, approving amendment to ordinance 58, adopt comprehensive plan, includes the changes to the future land use map as approved by in resolution 2015-18, that'd be then?
Yeah,
18?
I missed that one.
We knew what you meant. All right, conversation on that. Hearing no request for conversation, is there a motion to come forward for or against?
I'll make a motion to approve resolutions 2015-19, approving amendment for ordinance 58, adapting comprehensive plan to include changes in the future land use map as approved in resolution 2015-18.
I'll second that.
Motion Dan, second Patty. Further discussions? Bill?
I was at the first Plan Commission meeting when the applicant and the proposed user of it came to the meeting. And the conversation was that a bank owned it and from New York, and it's still listed as owning these two parcels. And one of the things that the town board did was take off some kind of restrictions that the town board agreed to years ago. And in that agreement that they agreed that such things as if that ever sold, somebody would have to build a home on it, and there were several other things. And this town board did relieve those restrictions. But in the conversation at the Plan Commission, in my opinion, and I was there, that's all they wanted to do. Someone on the Plan Commission indicated, well, why don't you go for a zone change? Because I know somebody that used to work out of there, and they were very nice people. I worked with them, and I worked with you people, and and I think if you set that up, the only way you can use that for warehousing is if you change it to commercial zoning. And then there was a motion from the Plan Commission that these people were so nice that they didn't have to come to and come to the Plan Commission, that the Plan Commission would recommend to the town board to change it to commercial zoning. But when it got to the town board, somebody said, oh, you can't do that. You know, the Plan Commission can't recommend that. And I tell any of you that are living in your subdivisions, there would be nobody able to come into the Black Forest subdivision, Timber Valley area, and because there's a vacant lot with 2 houses, 2 garages on it, would dare put a commercial zone in any of those. But they can come to these older subdivisions, this town, and say, yeah, that's a good fit because I think you're good people. I just think it's wrong. You don't have a witness here today. You didn't have anybody write you a letter saying that they're in favor of it. All you heard is from the applicant to say that I'm going to paint the village and they're going to look nice. And that person, God forbid, could have something happen to him tomorrow, and you got a commercial zone. Please vote against this. Thank you.
Anybody else? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed?
Opposed.
One opposed. Thank you. And now we're on 7, Resolution 2015-20, approving the rezoning parcel 07-0801HA from residential to commercial.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2015-20 as presented.
Motion Kathy, second.
I'll second.
I'll second it.
Dan, further discussion?
Same thing, be recorded.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed?
Opposed.
One opposed. Thank you. Item 8, operator license applications. We have several, I believe.
3.
3. That's more than 2. Is that several then?
That would be so.
That's a few. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the operator license for Nicole Robles from the store, Cassandra Schenk at Jammers, and Brett Schwalbeck from the store
For 1 year.
for 1 year. And I'm sorry if I damaged any names.
Second?
Second.
Patty, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Thank you very much.
I would have seconded too at first, just because I didn't know.
Establish next agenda. Anything particular? If not, get to me and Judy. We'll consider anything being on the agenda. Item 10 is a public input wrap-up. Wishing to speak to the public, limited 2 minutes each with public input limited total of 16 minutes. Anybody further wishing to speak to the board this evening?
You're talking about...
Any topics?
Okay, you were asking about land use there. Well, Oscar Kramer, he was pretty savvy. He had a whitewash business for years there. His kid took it over. I'm pretty sure he moved the lot lines, and he cleaned his truck out there, all that whitewash. And then he rented where the garage is. He rented that out to a guy that did lawn care. And those last people, they turned it into a garage, but we came in a meeting because he wanted Mary to put up a fence, but wanted it on her 60 foot of property.
Yeah.
And the town chairman told him to be quiet and sit down because the town chairman, I don't know if that was you or not.
No, that had been Tom
He went
Buss.
out and looked in the dumpster and seen all the empty fertilizer bags.
Yeah.
So, and then the last people in there, they had cars and stuff all over it. And I said, we're trying to figure out how to figure out, you know, if he did move the lot line or stuff, because that's just the type of person that owned it at the time.
Well, it's measured off. It's been
Okay,
surveyed, so where it's supposed to be, it should be.
okay.
I can never guarantee anything.
Well, okay, that part, that's a nice thing, but
Yeah.
that's pretty much a history of what went on there.
Okay. Anybody else wishing to speak to the board?
Can I?
Bill?
I know, I just, so now that that's commercial property and it's going to be sold and some individual's going to own it, will that still be the same address? 16th Street?
No, it'll change. It'll go to a 2-mile address.
And I'm saying it's 2 lots already. Why isn't it a 2-mile address already?
Mailing address for the property was that address.
and then the 1997 was the one that separated, was the certified survey. So it's been 2 properties for a long time, but that's just one. Thank you.
Anybody else? Hearing none, we will move into closed session. The Grand Rapids Town Board is going into closed session pursuits to statutes 19.85, Prin 1, Prin C, consider employment, compensation data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility to discuss the clerk position. Thank you very much for attending this evening, folks.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second it.
Kathy and Dan. Roll call vote. Bill?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Patty?
Aye.
Arnie's and I. Kathy?
Aye.
We're in closed session. Thank you.